Hi, good evening. I am so blessed to be at this side this evening. I have something to share with you about my life, and I hope God will help me to pass this message. Uh, I've been praying for this moment for so long. It's not easy, to stand in front of people as much as you are and talk about my own private life. Well, I am called a single Joyce. I was born in DRC. My birth town is Goma, and it is in North Kivu district, and from a Swahilian family. Well, I was born in a place called Ngunga. It's one of the areas, like parts of the Goma town. When I was born, I may say I'm not the first in my families, but I am the firstborn of my family. I mean, before me, my mother got pregnant, and unfortunately, the child couldn't survive. So the kid was born dead. Then after some times, my mother conceived again, and then she had me. So maybe that's why my father named me Esengo, because in my town Esengo, or my birth language, it means joy, it means excitement. Like if someone is so excited to have something, then that extremely joy is called Esengo. So that's my name, my given name, and my family name is Senga. Why do I start by my birth? I want to tell you the long story of my life from my birth until today. You know, so after my birth, I grew up as other kids do. But the job of my father did not allow us to remain in the town. It happened that we had to move from the town to the local areas, the village, and it was the same in the other territories, but it was no longer the town as Goma. For people who knows Goma, Goma is somehow town you can be having access and nearby the lake. Of course, I was born in Lagver Avenue. It means it's just at the bank of the lake Kivu. So I was born nearby that water. It was where we were living, me and my family. From that time, it's where I was born, and during my growth, I experienced various areas in Republic of Congo, and I was not able to remain in the town for my whole life. So we moved from that town, and for so long, and then I came back in Goma, which I can call my birth town, when I was again 14 years old. So during that long story of life, I grew up. When I was 4 years old, my family had another child, and the child was called Jemima, and she was born in the village. In that village, for people who knows DRC, they are having issues of wars. Sometimes the rebels are coming, sometimes the syndicates, they are being born each and every day. In that time we were in Sud Kivu, and it was a local area, so it was very easy to face those issues and attacks from terrorists and other people. So in that time, my sister was born, and when my sister was born, I was happy, of course, to have a sibling, and she was named Senga also as me because our family name, but her other name was Sedekia Jemima. The Jemima was an extraordinary child, and because we were born in Christian family, of course, my father was a Christian and my mother. So during that time, we were taught how to pray. They were teaching us how we can pray, how we can call upon God. Like you, at my age, for 4, I was able to pray for the food, to pray like a 5 minutes prayer. I could pray for whatever I need prayer for. So when my younger sister was born, she also grew up in that atmosphere of praying. So what is so special about Jemima, and why do I want to talk about? She was my younger sister, and I couldn't have much time to be with her. What happened is, when she was about to reach 2 years old, we were attacked. It was a severe war happening, one group against other groups as usual. Even right now, people who lives in the local areas of DRC, they know this situation. There are so many syndicates arising and raising up war everywhere. So during that time, the time when it happened that that our aunt is home, and then it happened that we had gunshots, fire everywhere. Then we had to run. We had a houseboy, and the houseboy, when he came, my mother asked the houseboy to come and pick me and my sister so we can run away and join my mother at the place. So when my mother sent when the houseboy came, it was very difficult to come back to our home. Then he took us from our neighborhood, and he straightly ran away. My mother was remaining in the house, waiting for us, calling each of our names, calling me, either calling my sister. She was traumatized. She didn't know what to do and where to live for. But suddenly she saw that the soldiers were arriving further and further, and so my mother decided to leave the house. She left the house with all sadness. She started running for her life, and me also. I followed our houseboy, and after some time I got tired. He continued to run. He was carrying my sister on his shoulders, and I couldn't see him anymore. I tried to run. I was faster runner, but I couldn't reach him. As I was running, the gunshots were passing by my head, but the protection of God, all I was telling God is, God, please keep us safe. I don't know, I didn't know how gunshots look like. It was my first time to see them. So I was seeing something like fire passing over my eyes, and after that time, I didn't know what to do. I continued to run. Then finally, I found myself in the whole forest because I was following the shoe of a houseboy. Then when I reached somewhere, I lost literally the track of this man because there are so many. For people who knows the local areas of DRC, sometimes it rains and the soil is so delicate, and when somebody has stepped with the shoe, you will see the whole shape of the shoe, you know. So that time I was tracking the shoe of a houseboy because he has already left me behind, and all along seeing these gunshots fire, like fire coming, because it was evening, of course they were coming like fire, and I couldn't, I don't know even how I didn't die because they're passing by this side and the other ones at this side. So I saw so many tracks of shoes. Then I failed to know which is a houseboy's shoes or somebody else's shoes. And since I didn't know what to do anymore, so I ran and I found myself in the forest. I was alone, but I remember that our parents told us to be praying when it is difficult. So I ran away, and during the forest, I ran all over the forest. I couldn't know where to go. Then finally arrived at the place where there was a river, and I sat to the river, and I covered myself with cocoyam leaves because it was starting to rain. During that night, I didn't know it was night or morning. I was very frustrated. All I could hear was the voice of the gunshots, and I couldn't know if it is the thunders or the gunshots because my heart was already up. At my age, I was 5 years old. I couldn't even be able to stay strong because my sister at that time, she was 2 years old. Then I sat there and I covered myself with cocoyam leaves. After that time, I started praying. I said, Lord, please protect me and protect my family. I didn't know what to say. Our father was not around. Of course, so when all that happened, my father was not around. I was with my mom and her husband and my sister. So that sometimes it happened like the syndicate has gone away. I didn't know it. I don't know how God did it, and I slept over. So the sleep caught me and I slept over. I couldn't hear anything, and from that moment I couldn't see anything. So I slept and slept and slept. Actually, I didn't know what time was it. I didn't think of eating. I didn't think of anything. I was like maybe half dead or fainted. I don't know. If it is God's sleep, if it is maybe I fainted of fear, I don't know. All I remember is that I was at the riverbank and covering myself with cocoyam leaves. From that time, I slept